Welcome to The Crooked Climb with Suzanne and Denise. Life and business are not linear. Let's get moving with honest, reliable, and unbiased information you can use to master life and business. We've all experienced life's ups and downs. In this show, Suzanne and Denise are committed to moving onward, upward, and most of all, learning from the biggest challenges we face in life and business. Join in the conversations with experts in their respective fields of health, wellness, personal development, fitness, and fun. And that's not all. Your path to self-mastery starts here. No climb is a straight line. Goals are achievable with clear targets. The ascent begins now.
Hello, everyone. So excited to be here for the Crooked Climb with a full house today. I'm Suzanne, and my co-host, my fearless partner in crime, Denise Stegall, is here.
Hi, everyone.
And I just want to say, if you're here, you're going to get some real, honest, insightful solutions to your health and wellness challenges that you may experience in life. And we're going to talk about three things today: nourish, move, and be. And our special guests today are two of my favorite people. Their podcast, Two Girls and Plants, is on its due. How many episodes in so far are you guys?
We just finished our 5th episode.
Well, awesome. Let's get right into your introduction. Shannon Summers and Adrienne Kraig are certified health transformation mastery coaches, co-hosts of the podcast Two Girls and Plants, and internationally published keynote speakers. Their focus is on nourishing oneself inside and out, which I totally love, and it's right up the Crooked Climb's alley. Our podcast is like no other. After each show, if you're here in our studio audience, we're going to ask you to go into a breakout room and join in the conversation and engage in some of those meaningful conversations and bring you to that next level that you're looking to achieve. So, Denise, what's up in your world?
Hey everyone, what's up in my world? Things are good. Oh my gosh, so much clarity in the last couple of weeks. Working on creating kind of like that master document that hosts everything that Living Healthy List offers, because there's so many things that we do, and we've got an amazing group of experts who all offer something. And so I want to make sure that we can say to people, this is what we offer, and it's right here in one place. So I'm really excited about the clarity that I've gotten for Living Healthy List in the last couple of weeks. And I do appreciate your support on that one too.
Well, of course, because in the last year, I've done the same exact thing, and I'm kind of on the next phase of it in my business, actually taking that roadmap and designing my content and where everything leads. And we've both been in business a long time, and I think it's important to remember that without a plan, you kind of don't end up anywhere. So
everything without a plan, it's just kind of wishful thinking.
Exactly. So let's get right into this relationship with food and your body and how it impacts your health more powerfully than just the food that you eat. And diving into mindful eating, this is going to be really great for me today. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, I'm really excited because, this is something that we talk about a lot. We talk about food. My background is food and nutrition. And sometimes it's amazing when you get somebody else's insight. So let's talk a little bit. Okay, Shannon Summers and Adrienne Kraig, the other two beautiful blondes here. They are both certified health transformation mastery coaches. Okay, mastery coaches there, guys. They are co-hosts of, as Suzanne mentioned, the podcast Two Girls and Plants, and are internationally published keynote speakers, which is the coolest thing in the world. And essentially what I love about what they do is they really do focus on nutrition from the inside out. A lot of times we think of nutrition, it's just what you put in your body. There's so much more to it than that. So welcome, Adrienne and Shannon. Thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for having us. We're really excited to be here.
Yeah.
Awesome. So mindful eating, we all hear mindfulness, we all know we got to eat. Let's just dive right in. Let's talk about mindful eating. What exactly is mindful eating and why should we care?
Yeah, great question. So mindful eating really looks beyond just what food you're eating. It looks at, where and when you're eating, why you're eating, how you're eating, and who you're being when you're eating, which I think a lot of people don't think about. And mindful eating, mindfulness is really just about being present, being in the moment, being in the experience. And somewhere along the way, I think, maybe it goes all the way back to the 70s when moms went to work and they needed more convenient food options for their families. But somewhere along the line, we've lost the memory of what it means to really have a meal and be present in the mealtime experience outside of just maybe a holiday meal, but doing that and incorporating it into daily life.
That makes a lot of sense. What you just said to me, I had a flashback of when I started cooking when I was 11. So quick story, my mom was out at the dentist. She was on Long Island, got stuck in traffic and had literally pulled over on the side of a road. Do you remember where you used to pull over and they had telephones in the waiting area? So she called from a payphone and said that they were going to be late. They were stuck in traffic. Dinner was going to be late. And so I thought, okay, fine. I saw there was stew meat in the refrigerator. I've eaten stew before, so I knew what was in it. And I knew there was get this, Fannie Farmer cookbook in the bread. Good old Fannie Farmer. And I took I read the recipe, I made the dinner. And when my mom came home that night, she was like, oh my God, what's that smell? And I got nervous and I was like, uh-oh. And I said, I made dinner. And she's like, well, how did you know how to make dinner? I read the recipe in the book and she's like, what cookbook? She didn't remember we had a cookbook. And so I was like, did I do something wrong? And she was like, this was the best day ever. She came home, my dad came home, we all sat around the table. And it was that sitting around the table that made me realize at the young age of 11, food brings people close. Good food brings people close. And I think you're right. That's the piece that we're missing. It's that good food that we're really missing in that mealtime event, let's call it.
Yeah, that would go along with creating an experience. We don't do that often unless it is a holiday and a special occasion. So, and I think it's more in line with when we were growing up, what we had, because we didn't have the same amount of distractions that we do nowadays with our electronics and busy families and schedules and such.
Well, it's amazing to me that electronics really get in the way of so many things. I'm a huge fan of digital minimalism, the book by Cal Newport, and he doesn't really talk about it in relation to mealtime, but he does talk about it as far as relationship goes. So being in relationship with people when you're eating meals, at least for me, is part of the mindful experience. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I would agree with that. So I can tell you, coming from my background, I worked in corporate America for over 20 years. And one of the things that was a priority for me was making sure I took my lunch hour. I sat in the cafeteria and ate, whether I brought my own meal or I sat with a group of friends. We just relaxed together. We ate together. Sometimes we went and took a walk after lunch, after the eating part of the meal, and made an experience. But there were so many people who, because of how busy we are, who needed to get out of the office by a certain time, felt they couldn't take their lunch and they would eat at their desk. So, you know, even right there, that's one way where we have forgotten that, you know, eating is a biological need, and it's okay to prioritize our need to eat and enjoy the experience while we're doing it.
Remind ourselves that this is something that's important, that we really do need.
Yeah, definitely. So, you know, in getting back to some of these components of mindful eating. So when we think about like, you know, when and where we're eating or why we're eating, you know, a big thing that comes up, especially with the times we're living in now and how much stress and anxiety come up is, you know, why are you eating, and are you really hungry? Are you physically hungry versus being emotionally hungry? Because part of, I guess, how we've come to be in a mindless eating pattern as opposed to being mindful about it is oftentimes if we're triggered by something or we're bored or we're just sitting around watching TV, we're mindlessly putting food in our mouths without thinking about if we're actually physically hungry. And there are concrete indicators of hunger that people may not even be aware of. So if we're physically hungry, that comes on gradually. We have time to plan for the meal, get the food ready, and eat it. When we're emotionally hungry, we have an immediate need to eat right now. It's usually like very tunnel vision oriented. We want a particular food. That's what we are craving or have a taste for. Whereas if we're physically hungry, there'll be a lot of appealing options.
Well, I love that distinction. I love that emotionally hungry. Typically, you crave something in particular. You know, whether your thing is chips, like mine, that's my personal go-to, or chocolate. And I think when you're truly hungry, spinach would be a great option, right? So few people actually know what true hunger feels like.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could talk a little bit about what true hunger feels like.
So, like I said, I mean, true hunger, you know, when you're physically hungry, it comes on gradually. Normally, you know, it's driven by some type of activity or utilizing the nutrients in your body. And if you're truly hungry, if you've gone too far, I guess that's a good way to explain it. If you've gone too far, you're probably getting you're at that hangry point where you've gotten crabby, you're starving, you just want to shove anything that's available in your face. That would be true hunger, where it actually has gone too far outside of emotional hunger.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in catching that level of hunger, you can eat nutrient density foods that are going to fuel your body and serve you, as opposed to making the quick decision of, I'm hangry, just, you know, give me whatever is quick or sweet or salty, and it's not really fueling your body. So afterwards, you're not going to feel the same as if you're eating the nutrient dense foods.
That's a good point. It's that how you feel. We were talking about this, like, how do you know that you're hungry? But I think you're right. You make a good point, Shannon. And, you know, when you've eaten those nutrient dense food, and as the more plant focused of all of us, I'd really love for you to touch a little bit more on the nutritious piece of eating, of what we're eating, to avoid that hangry, and that really understanding what we should feel like after we eat, like connecting, you know, your relationship with food, your body, and how that really is affecting you positively or not.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times with the nutrient dense foods and such, people think that that means lack of flavor or deprivation. And it's not the case. It can actually, you can feel great after you eat. Like I said, it can fill your body and be giving you enough of the positive things that it's well worth catching that hunger scale or rating it, catching it and eating before you hit that point of going beyond and eating just to eat more emotionally or desperately.
You mentioned the hunger scale. explain that a little for me?
Yeah, so if we're thinking about a hunger scale, so if we looked at a hunger scale, say on a 1 to 10, 2 is about you'll start feeling slightly hungry. That's when you should really start planning to eat. 10 is obviously when you've hit the hangry point, you've gone too far.
Kind of someplace, where are you on the scale? Where are you? And that's again, I guess brings it to how you're feeling. And that's that connection piece.
Yeah. Yes. Somewhere in between the 2 where you're starting to feel hungry and the 10 hangry, you're going to start getting maybe some physical grumbles or, physical hunger pangs, right? So really the best thing to do is start planning to eat around 2, because by the time those hunger pangs start hitting, which could be, say, we're going to call that about a 5, about halfway through the scale, you want to be ready to eat and have a meal ready, which, that ties into a lot of what we hear about nourishing eating, which is having foods prepped and ready to go, especially if you're on the go. That helps prevent you from getting to that 10. And it helps ensure that by the time you're at that 5, where maybe you're starting to get some physical signals of hunger, that you got something and you're ready to go and you can eat.
Okay, so I'm going to just put myself out there. I'm at about a 2 right now. I actually had lunch out with a friend, and of course that meant we really didn't eat, we just talked. So I'm at about a 2. I'm starting to get a little hunger, my stomach's grumbly. On a good note, I know I have half a salad upstairs waiting for me. So that really clarified, okay, so I'm at 2. So I'm not hangry, but I'm already thinking I should probably get something. Okay, so that actually, I hope that, that definitely clears it up for me, clarifies that for me. So I hope that clarifies that for our audience too, because I really like the idea of the scale. Like, where are you today? How are you feeling? And how that that connects kind of that mind-body connection.
Yeah, I'm wondering, if either of you or both of you could speak to the idea of having things ready. So, for me, most of my clients are entrepreneurs. They're busy, and they have the excuse of not eating as healthy as they should. And my go-to response is prep ahead of time. But in being mindful with what you're eating, I have found by prepping ahead of time and saying, in the morning, I'm going to have this, and this today, it keeps me more honest on those days with my healthy eating. And I'm wondering how you instruct your clients as health coaches.
I think it's important to do a little planning and prep work. This day and age, we can run in almost any place and still make a healthy choice. Again, that has the flavor. It doesn't mean that we have to go without that. I was in Whole Foods the other day and I bought the cut up cauliflower rice already in the bag, just needed to be cooked. You can do that with most anything. So if you're super busy, there's still stuff that's prepped for you. It's in the containers. It's just a matter of taking the time to think, what kind of food am I hungry for this week? What sounds good? And it's a corner that I cut a lot. Like I said, I'll hit Whole Foods and have stuff that's already cut up, which cuts my time back in the prep department, which makes it easier to slow down and put things down to sit and enjoy my meal that I'm going to have, as opposed to it's a race from start to finish. So
I like that. And it is true. Almost every grocery store has, pre-made options that are, whole food and reasonably healthy, or those, I go to Wegmans, they have, chopped up versions of everything. And now you do pay a little bit more, but I look at it as, if I'm in a hurry, I still want to have those healthy options.
I was going to say the same thing. It is a little bit more expensive sometimes, but when you think of the time you saved, the time you spend with your family or whomever you're sharing that meal with, but even, thinking about it a little bit more in the long term, if you're making these choices, and, you know, purchasing stuff that's already prepped for you, you're actually doing your health. That's really a benefit for your health, because you're not going to get over, you're not going to be overweight. You're not going to get type 2 diabetes. You're not going to get cardiovascular disease, because you've made these good choices. And maybe at the grocery store, it's, you know, a couple of dollars more, but what's to say down the road, how much more is it going to cost you in time and spend, you know, with doctors instead of your family, and on medications rather than, you know, a few dollars today.
Yeah, totally agree. Well, I can't believe we have 5 minutes left in our show. So I want to give Shannon and Adrienne a chance to take a minute and tell us about you, what you're up to, and where our listeners can find you both.
Sure. Well, you can find us, you know, on Transformation Talk Radio and with Cornelia Stephanie Media Group. That's where we podcast. You can find us at twogirlsandplants.com. And there you can find, you know, our blogs, resources, coaching. You know, we offer discovery sessions for those people who are looking into improving their holistic health and would like the accountability of working with a partner. Anything else you want to add, Shannon?
I think that's pretty good. We do have a book that we're offering now, and have more in the works. So it's definitely worth stopping by Two Girls and Plants off and on just to see what's new and what's available.
Oh, super exciting. Congratulations on the book. That's amazing.
Thank you.
That's awesome. I'd like for you guys just to, you know, go a little bit deeper. Just tell us, you know, who's your ideal client? Who is the person that you're speaking to right this minute? If she's watching, who is she? What is she looking for?
Yeah, for me, because Shannon and I bring different things to the table, I'm really, you know, working with women who have forgot how to prioritize their health. I focus a lot on emotional eating, working through self-sabotaging behaviors and patterns that prevent women from living the healthy lives that they want to lead.
So, and Shannon.
I like to work with just about anybody. My favorite group right now is I'm almost 50. So I'm loving this kind of age group in transition and change of life. But I do a lot of focus on whole foods, plant-based eating, transitioning that, and kind of elevating what we grew up with, still hitting the flavors and enjoying, but kind of cleaning up the recipes a little bit in order to thrive as we age.
I love that.
I love that.
And I think you kind of got all of us, because we're all about in that same age range.
Yeah. It's a great age.
It's a great age. And I think one of the things that I think is really important for people to realize is our health and our wellness, mental, physical, is in our own hands. It's our responsibilities. And it's a lot easier than we think it is. And that's even better why we have Adrienne and Shannon here, because they can help you make it even easier. So I guess we are starting to run down on time, but the exciting thing is we are going to jump into our live audience after the fact. But before we do that, just remember the Crooked Climb is available on Transformation Talk Radio Network, on Apple, on Spotify, Google, and anywhere you get your podcasts. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and give us a 5-star rating. 5-star rating. We would really appreciate that. And share the Crooked Climb with your friends and coworkers. You know, the more the merrier. And in closing, you know, each week there's another diet, there's another workout, there's another program, and you can waste a lot of time and money on these programs and still feel stuck. Our method here at the Crooked Climb is simple, easy, and focused. Nourish, move, and be, to maximize every aspect of your life and business. So it is time. We are going to go into our live studio audience to go deeper with Adrienne and Shannon. You can ask questions there, interact, and really just go a little bit deeper. So when you get a chance, select the Join Now button on your screen, and we will see you there. For those of you who we don't catch there, but you're catching the replay, thank you for joining. We're here the second and fourth Friday of every month at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. catch us live, catch our replays wherever you listen to your podcast. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you again soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for tuning in to The Crooked Climb with Suzanne and Denise. Life and business are not linear. Your go-to solution for honest, reliable, and unbiased information you can use to master your life and business. To connect with Suzanne, visit thetailoredconsultingagency.com. That's tailored, TAYLORD. And to connect with Denise, visit livinghealthylist.com.